Hello and welcome back to the Guild Theatre channel of Rockdale. I am here today with the two stars of Baskerville of Sherlock Holmes Mystery, our next show, in the form of Nick Roberts as Sherlock Holmes and Kevin Tanner as Dr. Watson. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time after a very busy rehearsal.
You're very welcome.
Now, quick question for both of you. Aside from each other, favourite Sherlock Holmes and Watson?
So my favourite is a little bit controversial in some respects, in that it's Basil Rathbone from the 1930s, 40s, and Nigel Bruce played Dr. Watson. Now, Nigel Bruce is portrayed as a bit of a bumbling idiot, which I don't particularly like, but it's, I guess because he was the first Watson I ever saw, there's traits of him that I do like and I do rely on.
I'd say, again, Basil Rathbone. While he is perhaps the stereotypical Holmes that most people think of, I just think he looks so much like Sherlock Holmes. Like you would expect him, his appearance is completely as you expect him to be. But he also combines this intense intelligence with a very casual, cool sensibility. The scenes, particularly in Baskerville, where he just cannot be shaken and almost brushes away danger, brushes away death. He's very steady under fire. And unflappable, and also kind of clearly slightly dangerous. You could see him as a person being involved in dangerous activities, being interested in crime, being interested in the minutiae of murders and intrigue and dangerous people. And he's believable as that type of person as well. Sherlock Holmes is essentially not a very nice character in lots of ways, and is intrigued by the risk-taking, dangerous side of life.
And what attracted you both to the roles you auditioned for? Did you consider auditioning for the other role as well?
I auditioned for Watson, although I would have been very happy with, and it'd be very challenging to play one of the actors, because obviously they've got many characters that they're playing, some really quick changes. They've got to come up with these distinct, 10, 15 characters each that the audience will see is all different. So that would have been very much of a challenge, but I've always wanted to play Watson. It sort of resonates with me. And so I did audition for that, prepared to accept any role, apart from Sherlock. Wouldn't have wanted to play Sherlock, though.
I was attracted to playing Sherlock because there is such a lot expected of the character. Everybody has an idea of who Sherlock Holmes is, so that presents a challenge in itself. But within that, although we don't know much about Sherlock Holmes' backstory, Conan Doyle doesn't explain too much about that, there's always something you can find in the script that illustrates a unique take you can have on Sherlock Holmes. And I think there's always room to do that, whilst attempting to meet people's expectations of what they think the character should be. So it's a challenging proposition.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of fun.
Well, coming off the back of that question, obviously this is a comedic version of Sherlock Holmes. But having been sitting in a few rehearsals now, I wouldn't say that it's disrespectful to Sherlock Holmes. So how do you balance taking your character seriously enough that they're believable while also keeping it fun?
Well, I think Sherlock and Watson are largely played straight, although they do have a couple of tropes, I suppose, that can be humorous, and we maybe add a different sort of humour every single show because we're not sure what's going to happen around us. But no, I've tried to keep mine very straight, playing it straight.
Yeah, but the script is quite straight. The script doesn't have many opportunities for actual humour between us, so we become the centre of the humour.
Whereas the other three,
Oh my goodness me.
they just hog it.
Yeah, but we're foils, essentially. We're the straight men for the comedians.
It's true.
In a lot of instances. But that does allow people to have a bit of a laugh at us all on the way, so...
And even though it has got comic elements to it, it can be a very scary show. There's bits that will scare people. There's thriller bits. There's things that will appear. There's music. There's sounds that will occur that will make it chilling, with the light relief as well.
There's moments of genuine tension.
And that's just backstage.
Yeah. There's tension, there's excitement, there's drama, there's action. It's pretty fast. And it's but in terms of humor, I don't know. Do we ever find any models of people? There must be some. Models.
I think the humour, the audience gets it when you're being self-indulgent or hypercritical of yourself. That's where the humour comes in,
Yeah.
as opposed to telling a joke or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But there's also humour in the nature of the relationship. I think, I don't know whether we'll that long jump on another question. I'm trying to just think about what we give this guy for humour.
I think probably
And I'll be going off.
And final question, and you can speak direct to the audience on this if you would like. Why do they need to come and see this show?
I would say come and see the show because it's a great play. It's got very funny parts. You will laugh out loud and a number of times. You will also be chilled in parts. I think, putting all modesty aside on behalf of the cast, we've got 5 good actors, good at their craft, on their game. Excellent director. We've put together really good technical stuff. So I think it's a 2.5 hours, including interval, that you'll thoroughly enjoy bringing your friends, because it's that sort of one where you want to share with people.
I'm just going to return to the humour. I think there's actually something fundamentally funny about the relationship between Holmes and Watson, in that Holmes really pretty much takes advantage of the guy. It's a very one-sided relationship in which Holmes puts Watson in pretty dangerous situations and does it blithely. And Watson then comes into, does eventuate for Watson. He's often threatened. His mortality is threatened. And Holmes just carries on. As long as it's working, he carries on using his friend in this way to get results. And there's something the underlying, or the subtext of the whole thing is dependent a bit on that, on this very unfair relationship. I think there's something fundamentally amusing by that, and sometimes that pops up to the surface. I think Watson's loyalty is entirely misplaced, and if I were him, I'd ditch this guy. So maybe that does inform some of the humour. But in terms of why people should come and see this, I think it won't be what you're expecting of Sherlock Holmes. It will be surprising. It will be quite exciting. It will be very funny. And visually, it's extremely well done. Tim's put together something, a bit of an extravaganza in terms of what happens on stage, in terms of effects. And I think people will be surprised and impressed. And yes, sometimes fun.
And costumes, phenomenal. Leode's done a fantastic
Yeah.
job. Leode and crew. And also the backstage crew do a fantastic job, and the puppets that have been made. Wow.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of costumes.
Yes.
There's a whole piece to go. There's a huge amount of work going into the costumes, and they work, and they're accurate.
And when we go back to our individual trailers, during the interval and before the show, they're jam-packed with costumes.
Okay.
Yeah, can't move.
And champagne.
And M&Ms, but not the blue ones.
Yeah.
That's right.
And cucumber sandwiches without the crusts. And whatever we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a big budget here at the Guild, but still come and see us. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much
Thank you.
for your time. For those of you at home, Baskerville opens on the 14th of August. Tickets are on sale right now, and if you come along on opening night, there may even be a special treat for you. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you here where Baskerville opens on the 14th of August.